on the North Shore of Long Island, formerly known as the Gold Coast.
Mike, this is like where you're from, right?
Hell no, I'm from the South Shore. It's a whole different thing.
This is the home of the wealthy and the fancy cars.
We've come to this car show to check out a car called the 1909 Alco. That is the car that won the 1909 Vanderbilt Cup. The story of Long Island's car culture can't be told without the story of the Vanderbilt Cup as well. In the late 1800s, wealthy Americans like the Astors and J.P. Morgan began building Gatsby-like mansions on the North Shore of Long Island, which became known as the Gold Coast. The rich were also one of the few people who could afford to own cars back then.
A man named William K. Vanderbilt, who loved racing cars and was also the great-grandson of Cornelius Vanderbilt, the industrialist, created the Vanderbilt Cup.
The first big international American car race right here on Long Island.
You want to have something glorious, international, really put America on the map.
And to give us a little more perspective on all this is the car's owner, Howard Cropley, who's also an author and local historian. I don't think anyone knows more about this car and the Vanderbilt Cup races than he does.
It's Long Island history. I like automobiles, but I also like automobiles with history.
Well, the two are intertwined here in Long Island. You know, you wouldn't have Long Island as it is today without the automobile.
That's totally true.
Plus, for me, it's special because I grew up around here.
Yeah, but Mike, this doesn't line up with you at all, because this is classy and charming.
I am the epitome of classy and charming.
This car was made in 1909 by a train company. American Locomotive made the Alco car from 1906 to about 1913. This was their only major race car that they produced, and they raced it in the Vanderbilt Cup Races. Nassau County was about 55,000 miles. 200, 300,000 people would come out for these races. Women wearing their fanciest dresses. The men dressed up in their Saturday best. It was the Super Bowl of its day.
Could you actually take us through what it would take to drive this? Is that just a handle for the passenger to hold on to?
No, this is a manual fuel pump. It took two people to drive the car. You had the driver and the mechanician. And the mechanician was not only a mechanic that would change the tires during the race, but also throughout the race, they're holding the pump. This is the manual brake. This is a secondary brake.
Okay, handbrake.
This is your shifter over here. This is a throttle over here, and this is an accelerator over here, too.
So is that the brake and that's the clutch?
Yes.
Which would be very innovative for the time, because back then there was no standard layout. It was just sort of whatever, you know.
Right.
Use, here's the shift lever. I use it with my face and that, you know.
Amazing to think that this was absolute bleeding edge stuff. People just were utterly unfamiliar with how all of this worked.
And blasting down your street at what must have been insane speeds at the time.
That's how it got the nickname Bête Noire. In French, that's Black Beast.
I think if it was built today, they might have just called it something else, just badass.
Yes, I totally agree.
So back then, they did an average speed of 62 miles an hour on dirt roads.
Correct.
Do you think it would be even possible to beat that speed today?
No, you couldn't. You couldn't do it.
I mean, we could try.
Yeah.
People like Howard are absolutely vital to maintaining this history, to keeping it around. Howard doesn't just shove his cars in a garage somewhere, never to be seen again by the public. To have these cars brought out and that everyone could just go nuts over them it's truly a special event.
Yeah, people wonder how to keep people interested in cars. This is the way to do it.
This is exactly how you do it.
All right, let's do this thing.
Ralph, you got to be prepared for this ride. So here's your equipment,
Howard,
your riding equipment.
Oh, my.
You are going to be my riding mechanician.
This is uncomfortable and strange, and I'm excited.
That's good.
Let's go. How is this legal? I'm stunned at how simple it is. I mean, other than the fumes and the shaking. Pardon us. This is the 1909 Alco.
Can I make it?
Yes.
We are in a race against history.
Yes. Oh, Mike, there's the finish line.
Oh,
Mike! Mike! We're in Long Island, and I'm getting a ride in the very car that won the 1909 Vanderbilt Cup Race, a race that helped bring the car and car culture to Long Island and also helped give birth to its modern suburban state.
Uh-oh. What happened there? We're smoking.
Boy, are we.
getting a little overheated.
Oh, yeah.
That's why I wanted to bring it back. Woo. We just made it.
We just made it.
We're lucky we made it back in.
Raph, we didn't let you go in this nice man's car.
Yes.
And you break things already.
I had nothing to do with this.
Raph, were you not pumping like you were supposed to?
It looks like it's just the fan belt that snapped off. That's okay. I don't think it's a bad repair.
Wow.
Hey, we survived.
Indeed.
We came to